Sup Facebook, sup YouTube. It's Kevin from Canine Freedom Dog Talk here, and I'm with uh, I'm with the awesome, cool J Jack, and yeah, feel free for
Awesome,
it,
cool.
awesome, cool, or sexy, badass, or I don't know,
Too
whatever you
too
want to describe.
much.
Too
Too
much.
much. Too much. I wasn't going for more, I was going for less, bro.
This is, oh my god, that was so funny. Yeah, if anyone is listening or watching, feel free to leave a comment, or like during the whole discussion, feel free to leave questions for us. I'm sure we'd be able to talk, answer your questions. Yeah, before we get into our topic, Jay, for people that don't know you, if you want to kind of do like a little quick intro or something like that, and then like what
Me?
you're doing. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. So yeah, weird. That's the part I hate. I've been training dogs professionally since about 2014 or so. Um, I run a martial arts gym. I teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I was a professional fighter for a long, long time. And then, probably around 2010 or so, retired from fighting. Got old and injured too much, and retired. And so, had a lot of extra bandwidth, energy that I spent watching fight tapes and fight footage and thinking about training camps and stuff like that. That kind of had no place to go. And around that time, like a lot of dog trainers, I think it's a really common story in dog trainers. Somebody that's really into dogs but isn't a trainer gets
Mm-hmm.
a really fucked up dog and then goes, oh no, like, oh no, and starts to get the knowledge and do the work necessary to help that dog and ends up falling in love with the craft of dog training. I think that's kind of what happened to me. I retired from fighting in about 2010 or so and had a dog that was very human aggressive. And I'd been around pit bulls my entire life, like grew up in pit bulls. And so was very familiar with that. And had this dog that like everything in my past history was like, well, you put that dog down. Like that dog's biting people, you put it down. And I didn't really want to do that. And at the time, fucking Caesar Milan was on TV, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like there's a person saying you can rehab dogs. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And there's me, I rehabbed myself. I've rehabbed tons of humans and have
Mm-hmm.
worked with a lot of dogs. Um, and so I was like, there's got to be an answer. This can't just shoot the dog, can't be the answer. Like it just
Mm-hmm.
it can't be. You know what I mean? There's got to be more to this. And so I started studying and really got into it. And yeah, that kind of just naturally transitioned. I think I got more skill quicker than many people that young in dog training because of the fact that it's like if I was telling somebody the other day, like if you trained horses your whole life and then switched over to dogs, you're going to get farther in 3 years than somebody who had never done anything and started
Yep.
training dogs and was 3 years in. And I know humans are a different species, but honestly, the way I train dogs and the way I train people is virtually identical.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the use of language, of course, conceptually, the way that I train dogs and the way that I train people are exactly the same. And so I think I made a lot of progress because of my coaching and teaching of another species, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so that made it a little bit, I made gains faster than I should have, you know? Um, but yeah, my experience in the pit bull world was something that was unique to most dog trainers. And I didn't know that when I first started getting into dog training and studying. I would talk to trainers and like I'm trying to get information from them, but then as we would talk about my history, they would go like, "Wait a minute, tell me about pit bulls and talk to me about your experience with bulldogs." And we would talk about pit bulls, and I realized like most dog trainers have no understanding at all of pit bulls as a generality. Like they just don't the breed itself, like just their nature. Like they just didn't have a good handle on it. And so that was something a lot of people would seek out from me in the beginning. At first, I wasn't doing dog training seminars. I was doing like Pitbull 101 seminars, talking to people about bulldogs. And then of course that led into, well, how do you train them, which kind of turned it into everything else. So yeah, yeah, that's it. I
Mhm.
don't know, I'm not very good at the concise history, you know, but that's
You
where I
know
came from.
that was yeah, that was perfect, and yeah, and also too, like like you you have like the information that you have, and like just being able, like when I went to my first workshop, that I had no idea like who you were, and I was just like, oh, fuck it, I'll go to this workshop, and then it was like Heather Beck hosted you like years ago, and then I was just like, at the end of it, I was like, oh shit, bro, like this, like I didn't think of it this way, or like,
What
or like
was the first? Let me ask you this. What was the first? How did you know what you were getting into the first seminar you went to, or did you just go because you're like, here's some random dickhead, let me see what's going on? Or did you like know what you were getting into?
nope, I had no idea what I was getting into. It was just, I was
That's
just like,
funny, dude.
I was like, do I go to this workshop or do I go to this workshop? I'm like, well, whether Heather's hosting a workshop is, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to this one, and
That's
after that,
funny, dude.
and it was just crazy. Then after that, then it's like, I took you out for food, I took you out for dinner, and then after that, it was just like, here we
Yep.
are now. Like I've gone to like 7 seminars at least with you at least, I think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Crazy. I always wonder, man, because like I know in the beginning, like I've been around now. It's not like I'm, you know, famous is a stupid word. It's not like that, but like I have enough name recognition now that I think most people know what they're getting into when they see me or talk about me. Like people are like, "Oh yeah, that guy." Or at least if they look into it even for a second, they'll hear people talk
Hmm.
about me. But in the beginning, when I was first doing workshops, people didn't know who the fuck I was. And so like I always like I always felt kind of not bad, but it would just be funny. I'd walk into a room and you could just see. Now it's almost like you go to see a comedian that does dark material and everybody's expecting the dark material because they went to see that comedian. But that guy in the beginning of his career, like in the beginning of my career doing workshops, I would be talking and I'm just looking at the room and you just see the whole room going, what the fuck is going on? Oh no. And I'd be like, yeah, dude, it's gonna get bad. This is buckle in, dude, strap in. This is gonna go somewhere. So yeah, it's kind of funny. But anyway,
Dude, that's how I was, because I was just like, I had no idea who this guy is, and then I'm just like, and then as soon as I sit down and I watch you like work the dogs and like talk, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, let me go ask this guy for dinner, let me talk to him more.
that's funny.
you, you, even just like I was like telling everybody, like when I was in Maine when I visited you, it was like
Mhm.
I was a plus one for my roommate's wedding, and then it took me like an hour to get dressed, be like, I fucking guess, yeah, okay. But then like that Sunday morning, my roommate wakes up, I'm already dressed, be like, she's like, so you get dressed in like in 5 minutes for
I'm
JJ
out
with
the
it.
door.
And I'm just like, hey bro, opportunity. Hey bro,
That's
opportunity.
funny,
I went for the opportunity.
right? I hear you.
Oh
All
my
right, so
god.
what the hell are we talking about today, man? What are we doing?
Uh we're gonna talk about, well, today I think I want to talk about clarity, and I think I want to talk about, punishment, because I think like with,
Oh,
I don't know, I feel like it's such a heavy topic when it comes to punishment, but like I love how you explain it, and then like for me, just I don't know, like after after going to workshop and like learning a little bit from Ivan through videos and other things like and podcasts, it's been it's like for me, it's like I between Patreon, I'm like understanding it, and it's like it's really
yeah.
been helping like clients. Like literally, I think it was like few months ago, I worked with this really fearful pity mix, and he was like, he's huge, and he's a sweet guy, but he's a big dog, and he like
Yeah.
barks at men. I met with him like one time, and then we tried the spray bottle with him, and then we worked on the whole sequence,
Hmm.
and then they just texted me back like a few days ago, being like, "Hey, he's doing great. He's like, he loves my son now." And I'm just like, "Wow, that was like one time I worked with that dog, and like just
Yeah.
giving that clarity, and that being able to kind of have that follow the equation like worked really well." So I figured like being able to
It's
kind of talk
it's
about it, yeah,
punishment is such a shit. subject. It's just such a bad, not bad subject. It's such a bummer of a subject
Hmm.
because one, I mean, first of all, the idea of punishment, it is distasteful to me too. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love dogs. I love giving dogs great experiences. The thought of giving a dog a less than great experience, I don't like that thought either. Like when I think about my kid, I don't sit around and daydream about grounding him. Like I
Hmm.
daydream about, like doing this thing with him and doing this jiu-jitsu with him and like going to their competitions and stuff. Like I don't daydream about I'm really thinking about the day that I'm gonna tell him he's disappointed me. Like that's not the part of
Hmm.
parenting I want to fucking think about. It's a really important part of parenting though. Do you know what I mean? Like to be able to ground the kid, to be able to go, hey man,
Hmm.
you're disappointing me. That is a hugely important part of parenting, but it's not the part
Hmm.
that I want to sit around and dream about. It's not the part that I want to pay attention to. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to
Hmm.
think about that. That doesn't feel good for me to think about. And so I think
Hmm.
one bummer of the subject of punishment is I am averse to thinking about causing aversion to dogs. Like I love dogs. I love dogs. I
Hmm.
love playing with dogs. I'm the play guy. I love making out with dogs, making dogs happy. Like I don't find it I find it distasteful to think about causing less than joyful experiences in dogs. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that's not part of parenting. That's not part of raising dogs that I enjoy thinking about. And so that's one
Hmm.
bummer of the subject is that it is a distasteful subject. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
If you love dogs,
Yep.
it's a distasteful subject. Even if you're willing to do it, it's distasteful. And so it's like that in itself is a bummer about the
Hmm.
subject because a kid that likes piano is going to get better at piano than a kid that doesn't like piano. Because if you don't like piano, you're not going to practice it nearly as much as if you like piano. So good people don't like making
Hmm.
dogs have bad experiences. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't like playing that piano, dude.
Yep.
And so if I'm left up to my own devices, I'm not going to play that piano much because I don't like it, which means I'm not going to be good at
Hmm.
playing piano. Do you know what I mean? And so it's like there's this bummer of a thing that like most people don't develop skill in the idea of punishment because it's distasteful to think about and it's distasteful to
Hmm.
do. And
Hmm.
so we let our preferences kind of guide us and we're like, I don't like sweep that right under the rug. We'll daydream about reinforcement strategies all day. We'll sit around and think about reinforcement strategies. Every time I look at pictures of my dogs, I look at pictures of my dogs and happy day is not bad day. You know what I mean? Like we
Hmm.
want to spend time thinking about this part of the equation, this part of the equation. We're like, let's just think about that. I'll practice piano later. I'll do that later. But
Yep.
then by doing that, because we find it so distasteful, we generally don't think about it or practice it as much as we should. And because of that, we get less skillful at it. But being less skillful at it sucks, makes it worse, makes us worse at it, makes the experience itself worse. And then it
Hmm.
kind of is just this big loop of like, don't get good at it, think about it later, don't get good at it, think about it later, do it worse, which makes it all worse, which makes me not want to think about it, which makes me want to do it later. And you're like, it just gets swept along. And
Hmm.
it's a very important part of training, but it just doesn't get the attention that it should in training. And that's the first bummer of it. And the second bummer of it is that people are all fucked up about it because
Hmm.
of how distasteful we find it. It makes people like immediately break into factions of like you're a piece of shit because you hurt dogs and like you're a punishment based trainer and you're like it's just this there's this like charged rhetoric around it that's just making people fucking argue and fight with each other. And it's like both of those things just make it a
Yep.
subject that honestly, when people are like, hey man, you want to talk about punishment? My brain is like, not really. Do you know what I mean? Like I talk about it at seminars because people are there to get information and it's my job to give the information. And I talk about
Hmm.
it with clients because they need the help. But just
Hmm.
as a general rule, I'm not like beating the punishment drum on fucking Facebook or whatever because I'm just like, God damn it. It's just
Sure.
It's
Sure.
just such a bleh conversation all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So,
No, for no, for no, for
welcome to
no,
Canine
for
Freedom
sure.
Dog Talk. Bleh, you know what I mean?
I mean, no, it makes sense. I mean, it's just like I think just the word. I think it was like I remember like when we talk about it, it's just like words have certain like just carry like this whole meaning or like you. I
Oh
think it was like you were
yeah.
talking about like I think just you talking about like there's like words that have like positive charges and negative charges and things like that, and
Yeah, dude.
it is just like
If they'd
I yeah.
if they'd have named it diminishment instead of punishment, I want to say we'd get in less fights on the internet, but that's not true because we just want to fight, you know. But
Hmm.
we would not fight as vehemently over that particular concept. Because
Hmm.
like if you ask somebody like, "Hey man, would you like to diminish that behavior?" They would go like, "Yeah, for sure. I would like that behavior reduced. Absolutely. I would love to diminish that behavior." When you say,
Sure.
"Would you like to punish that behavior?" They're like, "Whoa, wait a minute. What are you talking about?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we outside of science, we use the word punish as an adjective. Like it's to describe how horrible something is.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like somebody will go to a CrossFit gym and come back and be like, "Oh my God, that workout was fucking brutal. That workout was horrible. That workout was so punishing." And
Hmm.
you're like, "Oh, it was punishing. So you're gonna go to CrossFit less now because it was fun." And oh no, 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 I'm going back
Right.
tomorrow. I'm gonna do that workout again. I'm gonna do that workout 3 days a week for the next 2 months so I can make my numbers better at it. And you're like, "But you said it was punishing. Punishing means you're gonna do it less." And they're like, "No, no, no, I'm not talking about whether or not I'm gonna do it less. I'm talking about how bad it sucked." And you're like, when you use the word punish to describe how bad something sucks, and then you say, "I'm going to punish my dog," people hear, "I'm going to make it suck." And you're like, bro, punishment just means that the likelihood, frequency, or intensity of that behavior was diminished in the future. Like if
Hmm.
they're doing it at 100% now, and we do something, and then they're doing it at 80%, it was reduced. The likelihood, frequency, intensity was reduced. That means it was punished. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. It does like nothing else matters. Like that's the definition. Like that's what matters. So
Yeah.
like it doesn't necessarily mean something was so fucking horrific that the dog was like, "Oh my God." Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? "I'll never do it again. Oh my God, it was horrible." Like it doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean that. So
Well,
yeah,
I think
it just means diminished behavior.
yeah. Like me going to 7 seminars, right? And it like it took me like I would say maybe it took me a minute to kind of put it all together. But then also going to your Patreon was super helpful, just being able to watch the whole equation and things. But
Yeah.
like right, just the fact like just to hear the reduce the likelihood in the future, like and then my favorite part was like the second trial where we're just like
You
because
have to
like
do it again.
yeah, you have to do it again, or like you have to ask yourself like did it work, and then like the answer like I love from you was like we don't know. It's like we gotta start a second trial, and we gotta do a second
Dude,
trial.
it's wild. It's like nobody would ever like if you have a disease and somebody is like, "Okay, here's the chemo. Here's the what should be the cure. Statistics say this ought to cure it," right?
Hmm.
No doctor gives you that shot and then just goes, "Cured. You're done.
Yep.
You're cured." No doctor does that. After you get the shot, if you're like, "Was that the cure?" They'll
Yep.
go like, "Well, we're not sure. We need to run
Cut.
another test." If they run another blood
Mhm.
test and the disease is gone, yes, it was the cure. If they run another blood test and the disease is untouched, no, it wasn't the cure. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just
Mhm.
they have to run another test to determine what they've done. And everybody knows that with reinforcement. Everybody knows that with reinforcement, but it's just like, I don't know, man. People have this weird thing that punishment works on a different framework than
Mhm.
reinforcement, and it doesn't. Like learning theory is just learning theory. But it's like nobody would ever be like their dog touched a bucket in a studio, they clicked and threw this huge jackpot. Nobody would ever be like, "My dog knows buckets in all circumstances, in all settings,
Mhm.
100% guaranteed knows to touch buckets." You're like, nobody would do that. They're
Yeah.
gonna put the bucket out again and go, "Let's see." And if the dog runs up and clips the bucket, you're like, they did learn what I intended. But if they do a little circle and bark at it, you're like, shit, they didn't learn what I intended because they think
Yeah.
barking and spinning is what's working. Like they're not predicting correctly. Like we have to narrow this down until they understand the lesson intended. But like people allow for that with reinforcement, but with punishment, they're just like just lighting a dog up and being like, "That's good. He knows what's up." And you're like, "What are you talking
Ye-
about?"
Yeah, or even just like right, like for people who weren't like aren't rehearsed with like punishment, or they're just like, oh, I'm gonna just try this and see what happens, and then they're just kind of like they just think it worked the one time, and then they think, oh, it'll work next time without running that second trial like after, or just I don't know, they like or like if they don't see it works, if it doesn't work, they either go harder or they try to like.
And dude, the biggest misconception, the biggest problem in not biggest, one of the big problems in dog training in the dog training industry related to punishment is that people have this weird mistaken view that it's talking about right now,
Mhm,
like right now. You know what I
mhm,
mean? So like my dog blows up at something and I do something. Like doesn't matter what, who cares? Insert technique A, doesn't matter. I do something that stops them from blowing up at that dog. And so people are like, okay, I did a thing that made him stop. Punishment is the reduction of the likelihood, frequency, or intensity of a behavior. He was doing a thing. I did something. He stopped doing the thing. If he stopped doing the thing, I reduced it. Therefore, I punish. I have just punished the behavior. And you're like, no, dude, you don't know what the fuck you've done. You have no idea what you've done until you run it
mhm,
again. And then you see at that choice point, they go, ooh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And you're like, oh, wow, the frequency, the likelihood, the intensity was reduced. Therefore, I did punish. Or
mhm,
there's no change and they do it again with the exact same likelihood, frequency, or intensity. And you're like, oh, I didn't do anything. Like nothing was learned from that
mhm,
interaction. Nothing was learned. Or they do it twice as hard and you're like, Jesus Christ, I made it worse. You have
mhm,
no idea what effect you've had until they hit the choice point again and show you what occurred last time has or has not affected my behavior.
mhm,
If it did, in which way did it tilt it? This way or this way? Which way did it tilt it? Did it
yep,
not touch it? Did it not tilt it at all? It had no effect.
mhm,
So it's like, I don't know, man. They have this belief that what they're doing right now is the thing,
mhm,
and it's not. And they'll keep chasing it. They'll keep chasing it. People will literally talk to me and go, I've been punishing that behavior for 3 years. And you're
mhm,
like, mathematically speaking, have you? Like, how many times can you fold a piece of paper in half, dude? Like, like if you've been reducing it by 10% for 3 years, it's gone. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep,
there's no such thing as you've been punishing it for 3 years. There's
yep,
you've been giving your dog horror show experiences for 3 years that it's learned nothing from, but that's
mhm,
not the same thing as punishment. Do
yep,
you know what I mean? Like, punishment
yeah,
means reduced. It doesn't mean horror show. It just means reduced. And so if you've been doing some terrible protocol to your dog for years on
yeah,
end and it's learned nothing from it, you have not been punishing that dog for 3 years. You've been torturing that dog for three. You've been hurt. You've been like giving the dog a fucking terrible experience, but it's not learning shit. And so it's not punishment, you
mhm,
know?
mhm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just the fact. I mean, just to talk about like the fact that like it doesn't like the punishment doesn't have to be harsh. Like the way I see you talk to dogs, or like just like it's because I know you learned it from Ivan, just from like watching him, and then just
Mhm.
watching you go from like not upset, not mad, not pissed off, but just disappointed, and it's just like, and I have to tell my clients all the time, it's like if you do this, like don't be mad, like don't go like like not like knock it off, just like go like dude, like
It's like there's these overlapping, there's these overlapping sciences or these overlapping lenses that you look
mm-hmm,
through. And
mm-hmm,
again, one of the issues with dog training is people will kind of get stuck on one lens and they're
mm-hmm,
not seeing how those lenses overlap with each other, right?
mm-hmm,
And so one of the things is one of the elements of punishment is a dog relates an aversive experience to its behavior. It made a decision. That decision caused this bad experience. They didn't like the bad experience, and they go, well, if I don't make the decision, the bad experience doesn't happen. Bada bang, good to go. They learn to not do something to make sure that this bad experience doesn't happen. That bad experience could be addition or subtraction. It could be when I made this decision, I lost XYZ, or when I made this decision, XYZ happened to me. It could be the loss of something, it could be the addition of something, the receiving of something, or the loss of something. Either
Mm-hmm.
one of those is a, oh man, bummer experience. That they're both like, I didn't like that. It doesn't matter if it's physical. It doesn't matter if it's an addition or subtraction. They went, oh fuck, man, didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if it's something that's added, if they receive something, it also doesn't matter if it's physical or emotional. And then you realize, like, when you watch these really, really hard dogs, when you watch them, you're like, you realize the majority of the value of the punitive event, if assuming you have a good relationship with a dog, assuming you and a dog have good rapport, you and your dog have a good relationship, like they love you. You know what I mean? We have a nice working relationship. 99% of the time, we vibe, we gel, we're on the same page, we love one another. If that is true, then the biggest value, the biggest punitive value in a punishment event is the fact that we're having friction. It's not the stem, it's not the prong collar pop, it's not whatever thing you've done. The biggest part of the value is fuck, like I'm blowing it. Like, fuck. Like
Mm-hmm.
me and my family are at friction. Like me and my crew are at odds. Like this sucks, dude. Fuck, I blew it. You know what I mean? Like the example I always give is if I was saying something stupid at dinner and Mandy went and like I looked at her when she gave me the cough. I look over and she gives me the what the fuck are you doing face. I'm 100% gonna be like, ah, fuck, I'm blowing it. Like, fuck, I'm
Mm-hmm.
in trouble. God damn
Mm-hmm.
it. I blew it, right? Okay. The punitive value of that is literally just my social connection. She didn't hit me. She didn't stem me. She didn't prong collar pop me. But I for sure went, fuck, I'm blowing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm blowing it. And that has a punitive effect on me. I don't want to blow it with her. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh man, fuck. Now, if somebody I do not know, nor do I respect at dinner went and gave me the shit face, what are you talking? Go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit what you think, dickhead. Okay, but that means relationship has value. Do you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And sometimes when we hear trainers that I talk to about this, and I'm like, listen, you know what I mean? You can use your social connection as a punitive event, just like you can use it as a reinforcement event. Just like if my dog fucking loves me and I go, nice, good job, my dog should be all excited that he made me happy. People are like, you know, people go like, yeah, so you're gonna punish a dog with a relationship. What if they don't give a fuck about you? And I'm like, dude, if the dog you're working doesn't give a fuck about you, you have a bigger problem than punishment strategy. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if the dog I'm working has nothing, doesn't give a fuck one way or the other. If I make makes me happy, doesn't give a fuck, makes me sad, doesn't give a fuck. Dude, that's a bigger problem than whether or not you know what I mean? Like, that's a bigger problem than whether or not I can use this punishment strategy. I need to fix the relationship issue. I need to make sure we have a rapport enough that the dog gives a fuck about my feelings enough that then I have value. When I give a cookie, the cookie means more. When I go, the fuck, that has value. Like the social connection should have extreme value and be able to tip the seesaw into you ought to do that more or you ought to do that less, just from the
Mm-hmm.
social aspect of it. But I think, yeah, I think that's a part that a ton of people don't really put value into. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, I totally agree. I'm just reading comments because hi Eve, and then we got I'm from
Whoa,
India.
from India. Holy shit.
That's crazy. I didn't.
Crazy.
And then oh, and Kelly is like a trainer in my area too, and she didn't know. She she started following you after like I was sharing a bunch of content, and like she and like it just it like opened up like a bunch of people like they saw
That's
me share
awesome.
about your stuff and they go like, oh shit, like Jay's got some good
Like
stuff.
If Kevin likes this guy, he can't be that bad.
Right, and then we got Melissa. She was actually at the workshop with when Emily hosted you. She brought.
Oh,
Oh
cool.
yeah, it was that little. I think it was her significant other with that little brown pitty that like kind of quit during play, and then like I just met up with them like 2 weeks ago. They said it's gotten a lot better after talking with you.
Nice.
So and
Nice.
then I got Eve said went to a seminar, learned from Joel. I left with J-ism for aggression cases. I'm like, I don't know what J-ism is, but I think I might use that now. I'm gonna be like,
I
I
have
got some J-ism.
that, Kevin. She's referring to my one-liners, man. The little things that I
Yeah,
say all the time. Yeah, that's the Jism.
no, I
Um,
love it.
yeah, you know what? I think I was just thinking about what we were talking about, and it's like I think that there's I don't know, a problem. I think that the relationship rapport building aspect of dog training has somehow gotten left off, you know?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
if you think about it, it's like if you want to use something, like if I want to use food, my dog needs to have an appetite. You know what I mean? If I
Hmm.
want to use an e-collar, I have to have it fucking charged. You can't use something that is not prepared for use, you know?
Sure.
And I think that when people start looking at dogs not so much as creature like sentient beings, but they start looking at them like commodities. Like if I'm a
Hmm.
mechanic, I got 100 cars I gotta fix. I gotta fucking, bring them in, turn the wrench, fix it up, go put them out. Like they're not people, they're projects. They're just gonna da, 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 da.
Sure.
I think when you start pumping through dogs, relationship rapport development seems like a, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
if you
Yep.
don't have it, if you don't have that, if you don't have relationship, if I can't touch a being's brain, the only thing I can touch is their body.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody looks at me and goes, and that doesn't make me go, fuck man, I'm sorry, then what are you gonna do? Like, do
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Mandy doesn't need pepper spray when she talks to me because she has rapport, she has relationship. Some other person trying to stop me from doing something might need pepper spray. He might not be able to be like, he might not be able to be like, bro, I'm disappointed. You might have to tase me. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't give a fuck what you think. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like, I
Yeah. I was
think,
gonna say Taze.
yeah, I think that people go into the robotic input output machine thing and they leave off the relationship part of it. And if you look at it like that in the
Sure.
absence of relationship, yeah, all of a sudden punishment starts to look like how can I cause pain? Because that's all there
Yep.
is. But like if you don't give a fuck about my opinion, like then the only thing I have to deal with is like, do you care about your own comfort? And that's just
Hmm.
crazy to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's because people don't put a value on play and relationship development to the point where they don't have it left as a tool. And then
Hmm.
you're stuck with existential food and electric collars. Do you know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like the two ends of the manipulative. There's nothing else. There's no relationship necessary. If you're hungry, you'll do it. There's no relationship necessary. You say ouchie, you'll do it. So it's like I
Yeah.
think that if you understand the value of relationship, you can put way less importance on coercive tools because the dog actually gives a shit about how you're working together, like the nature of the
Yeah.
cooperation that we have together, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, just talking to you and just like talking to other trainers, like it's like a few years ago, I was just like, I only knew a certain mindset, and then like now, just just learning about biological fulfillment, like lifestyle, just like the whole like life, the whole layers. Just
Mm.
looking at lifestyle, even just like relationship. There's like I love just building relationship through play and just being able to kind of like just show the dog through play in the games where like there's penalties, like
Yeah.
and
Yes.
like again, even just like like everyone's thinking, oh, like punishment, hard yanking crank on the prong collar or high level. Meanwhile, it's just like I had dogs that like I've used spray bottles and a little look be like, dude. Like I tell clients all the time, be like, I pretend it's like it was your husband that ate your last favorite scoop of ice cream, like after a long day of work, and just go like, dude, what the fuck? But like, I love you, but what the fuck? And then you do the spray ball, and the dog's like, oh my god, what just happened? You know?
I mean, dude, even the whole like spray bottle thing, like I think people get too caught up on tools for everything. Do you know what I mean? Like a spray bottle in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
like again, if I start playing with a dog, if I start playing with a dog, most of the time, if I if we're playing and I want to make a penalty in play, a punishment in play, most of the time I can just stop playing. I can and change vibes. Do you know what I mean? Like we're playing a game and it's awesome and it's fun and it's cool and they love it and it's wonderful. And then they do a thing and it makes me go, no. And then everything stops. And there's this vibe switch. And then the dog,
Mm-hmm.
because he was enjoying play, again, because he was invested in enjoying play with me, goes, oh shit, something shifted. I did a thing. Do you know what I mean? I touched the bucket. Cookies fell from heaven. I want more cookies. I'm going to touch more buckets. I want this game to continue. I did a thing. The game stopped. The guy looks like he's totally not into it anymore. Oh shit, I think I fucked my game up. Give it a couple of seconds, and then you go like this. All right, I'm over it. I'm not going to be a dick about it. Let's play. And we go back to playing. He avoids the decision. The game doesn't stop anymore. Beautiful use of negative punishment. Beautiful use of negative punishment. And it gives me a chance to teach my marker words. I can now say no, which the dog has never heard before. I now have a dog that understands that word indicates a mistake I made. That mistake I made is associated with a penalty. I don't want a penalty, so I'm going to avoid the mistake. We can teach the concept of punishment, like the concept of it, in a low stakes, low threshold, no issue. It's neither one of us is passionate about this moment. Like it's no big deal, dude. It's no big deal, bro. And we can get that discussion out of the way and get skillful in having that discussion with no hard feelings through play. And then one day there's a thing that we need to
Mm-hmm.
discuss outside of play. And I'm going to go, hey, man, no, I don't appreciate that. But we are skillful in having this discussion. Like we've already had that discussion a number of times and there's no hard
Mm-hmm.
feelings about it. Now we're having a known discussion about a trickier topic, which is different than having a difficult, unknown discussion about a tricky topic. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think
Yeah.
that is reliant on understanding you're building it and not just using it in these moments of heated, conflict. Because if I wait
Mm-hmm.
until my dog's blowing up in a mailman, my nose is going to mean shit. My nose is going to be nothing to that dog. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have some sort of device, a tool, a squirt bottle, a shaker can, something, a leash, something. Because if I just go, no, while they're mid agitation, they're not going to stop agitating. And I have no way to break this cycle. And you know what I mean? I got
Mm-hmm.
to get them off the crack pipe if I want them to stop smoking crack, right? I got to get them off the pipe. But if my no means nothing to the dog, then I need something to help make my no important to the dog. But if I've already taught no outside of super high threshold moments and my no actually has meaning and value to the dog, there's a really good chance I could say no in that threshold moment and have my dog go, fuck, I blew it. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
again, that's because we put the time in before we had the discussion about the fucking mailman. Like if we're gonna have a discussion about something serious, we're gonna have to have a serious discussion, which means we're either I'm gonna have to use things, or we're gonna have to have a lot of practice in the bank of you listening to me about things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, just the fact like now it's just like I,
Susan.
I I'm
Susan.
al- I'm always just like talking about like clarity now because like after listening to you and just like I just ask like how what's the clarity between you and your dog is like just
Yeah, yeah. Are they understanding what the
like
fuck you're
just
meaning? What
be
they
like I feel like like being able to kind of like yeah like either understanding what they mean or like if you say no, are you just saying no like 10 times and your dog just like blowing you off middle finger, or like does it actually mean something, like, and
I
even
think
just
I think
like the whole.
I think most
Yeah,
people
go
have a
ahead.
hard time with no
Yeah.
being a real thing because they don't keep it clean. Like they don't have a punishment marker.
Yeah.
They're just talking to their dog. And
Mhm.
when people think about reinforcement, they usually are pretty good about keeping a clean marker. Like they use a
Mhm.
clicker, so it's very clean, or they go, yes, a very particular way, or they go a very particular way. And they would never make that sound at their dog. Nobody would ever look at their dog and click and do nothing else. Click and do nothing else. Click and do nothing else. I know
Mhm.
eventually science says you can get to a point where you could click the dog and they'll feel reinforced and you don't have to give them anything and the clicker itself is a reinforcer now. But fucking nobody does it. And nobody does it because they don't want to risk. If we switch to that, you don't even have to give them anything too soon and we get out of the variable and into this like it just is a conditioned reinforcer. Nobody's risking it because their reinforcement is too important to them for them to risk it getting fucked up.
Mhm.
But people will look at their dog and say no 1,000 times. No, no, stop, no, 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 1,000 times. And it's like you're clicking and no food. Like, how do you think that clicker is going to maintain value if you don't follow it up with something? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But then that
Yeah.
gets into like all the
A whole different
misconceptions
rat.
about
Yeah.
punishment that people don't even know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like there's this misconception. There's these fundamental misconception of punishment that I think people are using these definitions or using these parameters to ethical use of punishment because they sound good, but the truth is if you actually follow those parameters, you're going to wind up putting more pressure on dogs. You know what I mean? You're going to go more intensely on dogs.
Mhm.
And it's just like, I don't know, just like that thing of like, well, I can't follow it up now, it's already over. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that idea, like they go, no, but then the dog stops doing the thing, and then they're like, well, now I can't do anything because it's already over. And you're
Mhm.
like, dude, you'll give cookies. The dog's in a down 100 yards away, and you go click, and they run 100 yards, and then you give them their cookie. They're not in the down when they get the cookie for the down. The dog heals, and we go, yes, and throw the ball. And when they get the reward, they're not in the heel anymore. So like they got the reward after the performance of the thing that got the reward. Now that is
Mhm.
possible because of markers, but that's possible because of markers the other way too. Like if my dog understands no as a marker, I can go no, and then they can have the aversive experience. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then the problem is that goes into the extremes of thought. People are like, so you're telling me that 3 days after they shit on the floor, you can rub their nose in it? And I'm like, that's not at all what I said.
Mhm.
Because I also didn't say that you could click your dog today and give him a cookie 3 days from now for the down, and he knows he's getting it for the down. Also ridiculous.
Mhm.
Markers, bridge the gap in time between action and consequences, allowing us to have more articulation in what we mark and reward without having to deliver a reinforcer or a punishment right at the moment of behavior. We can
Yep.
mark it, and then there's a latency period that allows us to deliver after the fact, and they can connect the dots because the marker, the bridge, bridges the gap in time between the action and the consequence. That's why it's called a bridge. It's
Yeah.
like that works. That works, but the second you suggest it, people are like, so a week later, 7 hours later, and you're like, bro, be fucking reasonable. No, I didn't
Mhm.
say 7 hours later. No, I didn't say tomorrow. I'm
Yeah.
saying, I'm saying within reason. And when they're like, well, what's reasonable? I'm like, well, what do we think is reasonable with reinforcement? Because nobody has that weird
Yeah.
dichotomy. Nobody goes, wait a minute. So you're telling me you can click and then give a cookie after they've already left the down? And everybody goes, yeah. Nobody goes, so 4 days later, 17 hours later. Nobody ever makes that logical jump. But it's because
Mhm.
they don't feel bad about giving a dog a cookie 30 seconds after the fact. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you're just as happy 30 seconds after the heal as you are the moment they're healing. They heal, and you're like,
Hmm.
fucking right. And you go click, and they bop out of the heel, and we're paying the dog, and we're like, hell yeah. And that feels wonderful to me. I'm having fun doing it, even though it's after the fact. I don't give a shit. I'm just as happy now as I was 30 seconds ago. I don't give a fuck. But if my dog goes to attack another dog, and I go, no, the moment it attacks, I'm like all like up. I'm, oh no, this is bad. But when
Hmm.
it finally stops, it stops and looks at me and goes, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to attack the dog. I now feel like a dickhead, applying something that's going to make him because it's over. And I'm like, well, it's over now. I don't really feel like doing it now. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
You know, the thing I always say to people is what's easier for a parent, punching a kid or grounding a kid? Seriously, that's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
joke, dude.
Yeah.
What's easier? What's easier on a parent, smacking a kid or grounding a kid?
Grounding a kid, right? Oh,
No,
well, I mean, yeah,
smacking
smacking
a
a kid
kid
easy.
is so
I
much
mean,
easier. Why do you think for millennia people were just batting their kids around? Shut up. Stop it. Like that. No, man,
I
it's
mean,
look,
I
it's
should have asked. I knew the answer. I was just like, I kind of like second guessed myself because
look
I've been hit a couple
for
times, and it kept me from
for a
doing stuff.
parent who loves their kid, right? If I smack a kid, he breaks a lamp and I smack him. That sucked. I didn't like to do it. He didn't like this hurts me more than it hurts you, Junior. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna spank him or something. That sucks. Nobody likes it. Neither one of us enjoyed it. But it's over now. And if he broke the lamp at 6 p.m. and I spanked him at 6 p.m., at 7 p.m. we're having dinner, and at 9 p.m. we're watching his favorite movie. And tomorrow we go to the fucking park and we play ball. And Sunday we go to the fair. And Monday I'm his favorite person. Whereas if I ground that kid, which is what everybody doesn't, you know what I mean? If I go like, you've made a mistake, you're grounded, and I ground that kid at 6 p.m., I ground him. At 7 p.m., he hates me. You know what I mean? At 9 p.m., he barely says goodnight to me when I kiss him goodnight, and I cry myself to sleep because my child fucking hates me. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Tomorrow, he's still pissed. Monday, he's still pissed. That's so
Hmm.
much harder on me as a parent to have to like go through this. It's like the urge to just be done with it, the urge to just hit it, no pun intended, like and get out of it, just like bang it
Hmm.
and be done with it, just and just be over with, and just that urge to be done with it is so strong that it causes people to chase intensity
Hmm.
rather than lower level duration events because we don't feel as bad for as long when we do something quick. Pull the band-aid right off. Like we don't feel as bad as when we apply a more social punishment. Because if I
Hmm.
give my dog the fucking I'm disappointed face for a minute, like a full minute after they've already fucked it up, and I'm like, what are you doing? And they offer me a heel, and I pull them out of the heel and they try to put their paw on me and I brush their paw off. And I go, do not want to make up with you right now. I can't even look at you right now. And I'm giving them
Hmm.
the shit face for a full minute. That breaks my heart to do that. Like that sucks, dude. That's like watching your kid be mad at you because you grounded him. Like that
Hmm.
sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you know what I mean? Like, if you realize the efficacy of, like, we realized in parenting the efficacy of grounding versus beating, and now everybody grounds their kids. Very few, rarely do people beat their kids because you realize there's actual effect in grounding. It just
Hmm.
sucks. It just hurts my feelings. It just sucks for me to do to my kid. That sucks.
Hmm.
The long stink face makes me feel like a turd. And so a lot of people with dogs are like, let's just bzz and get it done with. Just quick, just get it over with because I don't have to have the bad feelings of the stink face after the fact. But it's like, fuck,
Hmm.
man. Like that misconception of you got to do it right now and it's got to stop the moment they stop makes people chase the dragon of higher and higher levels of intensity, trying to accomplish that thing of you got to do it the moment they do it and it's got to be over the moment they stop. It
Yeah.
causes people to chase super high level physical punishments.
Hmm.
Like, do you know what I mean? Rather than
Yeah.
focusing on social punishments that can be much, much, much softer and gentler, but they do draw out for a period of time. Like they last for a little while
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
have
No,
to.
yeah. No, No, I agree. Especially where like we talk about like I mean just learning from you, just learning like we go high, we can only go so high to the point we get to an abusive level, and then like we don't
Of
talk about so
course.
much. We don't like talk about like that whole like can I drag like the whole duration period. Like it like took me a bit to put it all together, but now I'm like all right, cool. And like like now I'm starting to get the groove and like understand like the whole like the equation.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because
It's a
because
tough
sometimes.
one because I think the issue is that I think most people don't have a complete understanding of punishment.
Hmm.
Most people don't. They're working with half models, or you know what I mean? Like they're just I don't even know how to say it. Like at the fair, there's those
Hmm.
things, the circle, and then you get five little circles, and you have to try to cover the entire circle with all the little circles that you have.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
impossible because it's a fucking scam, right? But it's
Hmm.
like that. I think most people in reinforcement, they have a full understanding. If they, here's the subject of reinforcement, here's your five circles, cover all of them, everybody, they can cover the whole thing. Like they're not missing any of the pieces that they need to cover the whole circle.
Hmm.
But I think with punishment, most people don't have a full view of it. They're missing little aspects, not tremendous swaths necessarily, but important little pieces that make it where you can't cover the whole subject, and then there's some gaps and some flaws. And I think the problem is, as a general rule, I think the only source that I've seen so far, there have been a couple people that have had a full understanding of it, but they're like pockets of, there's like random people who happen to just put it all together. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
As a general rule, the only like collated source I've ever seen that actually teaches the full idea of it's Ivan. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And the problem with that is that because it's associated with a person and with
Hmm.
a sect, a group, is that now it's subject to uh, cult of personality type stuff.
Hmm.
If somebody's like, I don't like Ivan, they're not going to look at the work, and then they're going to miss the idea because they don't like the guy, or
Hmm.
I don't like XYZ who is this lineage. You know what I mean? You don't like Johnny, and Johnny's that lineage, so now you're not going to listen to anybody from that lineage. Fuck that lineage. And then when somebody's like, "Oh, I learned about this concept from XYZ," you're like, "Ah, fuck that." Do you know what I mean? And it's just a
Yep.
bummer because it's like, fuck, man. Like that's the only place I've ever seen that the only source I've ever seen that put it together in completion, and you're like, fuck, okay, there it is. That's what it is, you know?
Yeah.
But
I.
it's just tough because now it's connected to an identity, a personality. And then
Yeah.
that has its own whole fucking set of issues, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. All right. Okay. Becca says hi. Then we got Rachel. True parenting sucks. And then we got Chad. He's one of the
Chad,
guys.
my
And he's just like
original mentor.
the original mentor. And
Oh, dude,
then
that guy, honestly, dude, that
fucking like freaking funny
I would
as well
not
as right, Jay.
I would not be here without that guy, dude, for sure. Like I wouldn't have bothered. Like he was the first person that was like
Hmm.
he was the first person that was like, your ideas have merit, you're on the right page, you're on the right path. Your ideas have something to it. Keep going. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
podcast that I did with him, like nobody fucking gave a shit about who the fuck I was or what I was thinking. You know what I mean? He was the only person that was
Hmm.
like, you have enough value that you should be on here and able to speak. Because he could have been like, why don't you shut up and let me talk? And I totally would have done it because that was my mentor. I was like,
Hmm.
absolutely, I'll sit here and just soak up the knowledge. But he wasn't. He was like, you should talk more, ask me questions, encourage me to fucking open my mouth. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If there wasn't for his influence, like for sure, I wouldn't have any of this.
Yeah. And yeah, no, like just being and again, like just being able to learn from both of you guys and just talk, like, and like Chad was like literally mentioning like like when where like they go from Jay and they would go from your workshop and then they go to chat and they're like they try to they see they kind of like they see like some differences, but then like chat is like like say we are similar but not in like what you think. You kind of have to like look at it like
It's
in a
so
different
it's
way.
so it's so funny to me because it's like, I don't know, man. Like we are the same thing. It's just a little different in some spots. It's like jujitsu,
Hmm.
dude. Like jujitsu. I love jujitsu. But like, man, my game very, and nobody's gonna know what any of this means, but like I'm very judo, Greco-Roman oriented standing and on the ground, very heavy pressure, lots of pressure passing. Like from the bottom, I mostly want to get back on top. Like I'm not inverting and all this stuff, but like somebody can be a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner and like they are jiu-jitsu. We are the same thing. We follow the same idea. There's two safe places, too far, too close. There's these five basic positions. The parameters of control are all the same, but the way they express their jiu-jitsu is like a lot of half guard and a lot of spider guard and a lot of open guard, and the takedowns they use are very different from mine. Like we're both jiu-jitsu. Like we're the same fucking style. It's just the expression looks a little
Hmm.
different. But if you don't understand jiu-jitsu, you'd look at us and be like, y'all are doing two different things. But it's like
Hmm.
both of us are like, what are you talking about? We're doing the same. We're doing the same shit, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I think anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, just I mean, just hearing you both talk, and it's just like like after putting it all together, it's like okay, yeah, yeah, you guys are. So like just how you said, like if you don't know jujitsu, you don't know you
You
think
don't
it's
know
two
the
different things, but
similarities.
like
Yeah,
yeah, you don't have similarity. But like now that I've seen like the specs, the details, the all the specifics, I'm like, all right, cool. Like you guys are, I'm like, now I get. Now y'all are doing the similar things, you know.
same
So,
shit.
um, but
Well, you
yeah,
better ask some questions, man. I don't have a
I
whole
mean, just
shit ton
like
of time
have,
before I gotta go, so you better hurry up. You got questions or what?
no, I mean, it doesn't sound. I mean, if anyone got questions, if anyone got questions, you can throw them out quick. But otherwise, like this was really good. I like this was a fun conversation. It's just I think just being able to just like for me, this is a good review too. Honestly, just because I'm a J nerd, so I just I'm always on the page, and even just just talking about it, like if you want to learn from Jay, or you wanted some more info, like I'll even leave the link on just like like Jay's got his Patreon, and then he's got that new course from Stay Learn with it's the Windows, right?
Yeah,
It's the
it's
for Windows.
Windows.
Yeah,
It's Windows Theory. Yeah, yeah. That was a wild experience. Like they came out, filmed it, they did all the editing and stuff. I was like, whoa. It was like, holy shit. Yeah, it's good company, man. It's pretty cool.
right.
But yeah, it's
No,
on there, so go check it out.
yeah, no, no, I mean, for I definitely recommend it. Oh, sorry, sorry. My for some reason my Wi-Fi is a little slow, so like I don't know if I'm cutting you
No,
off or
that's
anything
all
like
right.
that.
You sounded like a robot for a second, but I was just waiting.
Yeah,
I don't know how many
yeah.
people are on
So
here.
I was just telling people.
I can't see if there's any questions or anything. I don't know how to look at it.
No, there's.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Let me see. Well, Jennifer Dawson just came up. He's just like, no, nobody gives a fuck. Like, just what seminars are coming up? Does Jay know, or
I
do, or do we need to
Well,
ask
no,
Mandy?
I don't not know. I'm in Oregon sometime at the end of this month. I'm in Oregon, I think at the end of this month. And then next month, July, I think I'm in
And
Boston.
then you're gonna be at conference.
And then yeah, conference is what, September. So I'm going to be at the conference in September, presenting there. I'm doing like a lunch thing there, and we're doing a presentation with Joel and Larry. I think I'm in the UK sometime after around that. I know that I think I'm in Australia in September sometime too, maybe September, October, something like that. I don't know. I'd have to,
Yeah,
if you want to know real
yeah.
information, you're gonna have to talk to Mandy because I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. But I think there's a bunch of stuff coming up.
Mandy just tells him where to go, and Jay's like, okay,
Oh, she does. No, seriously. It's pretty bad. It's like it's
yeah,
in my calendar. It's in my
but
calendar. And I just drive to the airport
hey,
that
hey, you're,
she put on there and I just
hey, yeah,
show up. Hey, how you doing?
yeah.
I'll walk up. I know I'm going to United or something. I'll walk up to United and check in. And they're like last name, and I tell them, and then they're like destination. I'm like, no idea, dude. You're gonna have to look. I don't know where the fuck I'm here. I'm here with bags, dude. I don't know. I just came to United because it said United. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. It's pretty sad.
uh, that's that's funny. Hey, there's your system, so it's been working so far.
Yeah, that's all we got, dude.
But
You can't really couldn't
yeah,
rely on my brain for it.
I think I'm gonna cut the live stream, so I'm just gonna have some last words for Jay. But no, Jay,
Cool,
I
man.
really appreciate you just hopping on, just talk about dogs, and you know the talk about the
Always.
topic, and and appreciate everyone that was listening. So we're gonna cut the stream now, but otherwise, hope y'all have a good rest of your day. So.
Perfect, man.